that the more issues, hiccups will come, and I think that will be addressed in accordance with the appropriate law. So I think this is quite very, very encouraging, and that Mr. President, as he said, showed us the way that we should manage these obvious hiccups. And with that, I begin to see that more hiccups might come concerning the card reader. What I'm not sure of, they tried about 4 card readers for Mr. President, right? I believe that their PVC have not been tampered with by no person. But when the full details are known, for now, I think we are satisfied that Mr. President has treated the issue in a state and right manner, and we should all continue to see that as an isolated case.
Well, we're showing this optimism, which we have maintained all through the course of this particular program. And one more thing before we let you go, what will be that thing that you would love to see when it's 5 o'clock? Because 5 o'clock, the entire process should have been over, and the movement of persons will be lifted. For Nigerians and INEC, they say they would love to see a situation whereby we won't have a delay in the release of election results. 48 hours after the election, what would you love to see as to INEC's capability to deliver in this particular day for the people?
I think INEC should quickly rise up to these obvious hiccups and challenges. The time factor, for instance, some of the accreditation centers started very late, especially in Otoko with Mr. President constituency. I believe it's not the same all over, but be that as it may, they should quickly ensure that this accreditation is finished on time and the voting commences. Because accreditation is even the most important segment of this exercise. I believe the voting will be faster when voters have been accredited. So they should double up on this because time is not on our side, but as far as it takes, but this is an important election to Nigeria and the whole world. We should complete the exercise and we should be patient, as the president has said. So what it takes is that people should vote and the election should be conducted the way it is to be conducted, to be seen, fair and credible, and that people should be patient enough to cast their vote when they have gotten to the voting centers, no matter the challenges. That is my advice.
Ambassador Ayo Adigun, would like to thank you so very much, former Nigerian ambassador to Liberia, also serving as an election observer. You have been fantastic. Thanks for your time and your patience as well. Nigerians can also learn to be patient from you. We'll come back to you pretty much later in the course of the program, but for now we have to let you go. Thank you so very much. Speaking with us from our Abuja studios, Ambassador Ayo Adigun. Now back to you, Captain Umar Aliyu. What we have seen, we really have to take all those 2 words that we have highlighted upon, patience and perseverance, and it is quite key here. Looking at the comments, loads of them coming in from Nigerians across states and geopolitical zones. They have started the process, but we have pockets of other hiccups, like delay in INEC officials coming. But for now, we haven't actually have so many of them saying that their cards have been rejected, but definitely, I know it's still early in the day to go with what GT has said. What kind of message should we be passing on to Nigerians as they watch this process?
For me, I want to say that we had a glaring issue this morning of the first couple not being able to be accredited. Should actually activate what I want to call a damage control process in the INEC situation room. If it could happen to the first couple, then it could as well happen to anyone. INEC should be able to do a damage control in the sense that they should be reaching out to all other polling units, particularly with information on the likely causes of those card readers not accrediting or working when the first couple got there. I'm saying this because I know they were test run, and when they did the test running, certain aspects of the operationability of those devices was highlighted.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you there.
Okay.
Let's not keep President Muluzi waiting. President Bakili Muluzi, the first freely elected president of Malawi, on the line with us. He is the chairman, Commonwealth Observer, as well as the former president of Malawi. Thanks for joining us, President Muluzi. For you, you have seen the process in Malawi as well as other parts of the continent. What does this mean to you?
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. I was, this morning, I was at the first polling station at 7:45. The challenge we had at that time was the issue of, material hadn't arrived. We waited there for 2 hours. But these are things that we expect at every election, delay, delivery of materials. The challenge INEC has is that it has 150,000 polling stations, and to deliver in all those, that's the challenge they have.
Well, the challenge of INEC, which we try to highlight, but let's relate that with other elections on the continent, the elections in Ghana, as well as the elections in Malawi. What can be the learning curves that we can take from those 3 elections from Nigeria?
Well, first of all, this is a turning point for Nigeria. It's a very, defining moment for Nigeria, in that they are coming from, military government to democracy, and expectedly there will always be these challenges because they are now leading up to, democratic elections. And I think as Commonwealth, we have been supporting them, we have been engaging them, we have been engaging INEC to give them the technical support. So in a way, so far so good. What has impressed me this morning is that people have queued up, patiently waiting for them to be accredited. That's very, very impressive.
Mr. President, you saw the card reader there being used in the President's ward at the moment, and it gave some concerns. What are your immediate impressions about INEC's preparedness with concerns to the card readers?
Well, where we have been this morning, I've been to 3, polling stations. We didn't, witness any problem in terms of the card reader, except one person who had a problem. But the rest of them went through, they were able to be accredited, and people patiently waiting there. What I can ask, the Nigerian, people is just to be patient. I think go and, accredit themselves, and then once set, they must go and vote.
Are we looking at a scenario whereby in the whole of Africa, in the coming elections that we're looking at, coming years, if you call it, move or graduate to using the card readers?
Well, this is something which we are learning. Let's see how this card reader exercise will go like. I'm very keen. Like you said, I've observed the elections in many, many countries, and this is my first experience, and let's see how it works out. We just have to learn from there.
Well, President Muluzi, one last thing from you before we go. I'll take off from where Gimba stopped. You have monitored some of these card readers in Abuja, and you say, well, there hasn't been any form of problem. But if you look at what occurred a moment ago in Bayelsa State, and the president of Nigeria, President Jonathan, asking everyone to be as patient as he is at the moment, because he's yet to go through the accreditation process. What would be your message across the country to fellow Africans like yourself in Nigeria, should they be having similar challenge?
Well, first of all, I'm very, very happy to hear the president asking Nigerian people to be patient. He has shown the leadership, asking people to be patient, and that's a very good thing. It could be one, example of a problem of the card reader. And I would ask our president just to be patient, and I'm sure he will be allowed to vote. So the message that I'm giving to the people of Nigeria is that where there are problems, I think they should just have to be patient. These elections are defining moments for Nigerian people, and they're very important and they're very crucial.
Oh, Mr. President, let me step this a little away from the concerns that we're seeing concerning the card readers. What are your expectations with regards to the IDPs in Nigeria's northeast? Do you think that this process they will scale through?
I think so. We are all hoping so. I mean, we are here to observe the election, just to see the process itself. And what is important for me is the post-election itself, how the people of Nigeria will react to this. I'm asking them to be, peaceful after the elections. What has encouraged me is the signing of this accord between the president and General Buhari to say that their people are going to be peaceful. I think that's what we're expecting to see, peace after the election.
Well, President Muluzi would like to thank you so very much for joining us this morning. He was the first freely elected president of Malawi from 1994 to 2004, and also chairman of the United Democratic Front until 2009. We understand you succeeded Kamuzu Banda as Malawi's president. Many thanks for speaking with us live this morning.
No, thank you for having me, and I wish all Nigerians well. Thank you very much.
We look forward to speaking with you pretty much later in the course of the program. Back to you gentlemen in the studios. GT, you've heard Muluzi, President Muluzi, former president of Malawi, there talking again. Everyone is on the patience route, talking about patience and perseverance with this particular process. For him, he's given us some form of good news. He's monitored a couple of the process in Abuja as we speak before coming to speak with us via phone. And he said in all the places he's been to in Abuja, that's the FCT, well, he hasn't encountered any problem just for one case individual. So it would seem as, going back to what you said, too early in the day to pass judgment on the card reader.
Exactly. We will have to be very constructive and very rational and reasonable in our interventions and be very hopeful in our expectations. The backdrop to the use of this card reader was the partisanship that attended its promised deployment and use. We all know that. And because it's a new technology that has been deployed, there are a lot of apprehensions, which indeed led to the card readers being tested. Now, there's a difference between test or rehearsal or staging something before the actual thing. There's a difference between a mock examination and the actual examination. And so we've seen it work. There are reports by President Muluzi that, yes, where they've visited in Abuja, the card readers work effortlessly. Before now, there's been a lot of suggestions on how we can indeed make the card reader work, including engaging what I call some rituals of ablution, of a different kind. Wash your hands, then at a particular time, you missed that out, you weren't recalling that they actually provided powder after the wash of hands to dry the hands so that before applying the thumb prints. And so it worked on those occasions. And so, just as lawyer would say, he who approaches equity must do so with clean hands. So if you're approaching the card reader, you better approach it with clean hands. And so we can also hope that those who are conducting the election will also conduct it with clean minds and clean hearts, and with the combination of all that is clean, we can have a clean.
Well, I'm just going to observe
Results
another aspect of you. Clean hands, clean minds, clean hearts, and clean process. But time for us to see how clean this process is going on in Rivers State, where Emmanuel Ray is standing by to tell us what exactly has happened. These are feeds you get in. Well, Emmanuel, good morning and thanks for joining us. What's the mood like in Port Harcourt?
A camp where INEC officials were distributing materials to the different polling units. It appeared calm. We also visited polling units 12 to 18 in another camp, and the atmosphere there looked okay until we arrived at Obima community, where the governor of Rivers State is expected to do his accreditation and to vote eventually. But the situation here is rowdy, and the problem here is that, according to what the governor says, is that there are no result sheets. Now, we've been to a few polling units, and the INEC officials there confirmed that they do not have result sheets. So the governor has refused to do accreditation. As a matter of fact, he spoke to the press to say he will not be part of any accreditation exercise anywhere there are no result sheets, and he was actually also calling on Rivers people. I have the governor of Rivers State not very far from where I am, so I'm going to get him to speak to us in a moment.
Meanwhile, if you can hear me clearly, let me quickly ask you this. I can see from the feeds that we're getting just so many people sitting somewhat idle, while some others are actually meeting up in groups. What is going on at this time with the people?
The electoral commissioner, first and foremost, in Rivers State, must know is from Bayelsa. You know, when INEC changed electoral commissioners, they brought Mike Igini to Rivers State. In less than 2 days,